Futsal community, we're here back for Futsal Masterclass number 2. Again, Rafa, it's a pleasure to be talking here to you again. Super excited.
Yeah, me too, Andrea. I was very excited since the last Sunday. It was amazing. I couldn't wait for today.
We got some awesome feedback from Masterclass number 1. Some controversy. Apparently, you say that Iran was not lucky to beat Brazil in the 2016 World Cup. All the Iranians loved your comments, but all the Brazilians got upset.
Normal, of course, but I don't know if these Brazilian guys that got upset if they were following up the Iranian team before the World Cup, and if they are keeping following up the Iranian team for the next World Cup. So I don't know what they know about, but what I know about is enough.
That's it. So I think not many people know Iran better than you. You lived there for 4 years, is that right?
3 years.
3 years, 1 year
3
working
years
with
in a row.
football, 2 years working with football, and 1 year working with futsal, right?
Exactly.
So today we have some very good topics to talk. We're going to be talking about the World Cup. Today we're going to be talking lots about power play. What some people say fifth main, flying goalkeeper, which, by the way, we had a very good stats last season with power play. Just putting out there quickly, last season, Rafa, attacking power play, we scored 10 goals and we only received 1. So just putting that out there, that's an amazing stat, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know exactly how many games did we use the power play or not? I think we use
how many games we
only
used.
few games, right?
Not that many games, no. But if we think, over the whole season, we scored 10 goals and received 1 when we were attacking, and when we were defending, we actually scored 6 goals. So we defended very well power play, or fifth main, some people say, and we only received 5. So we were in the positive on both sides, both attacking and defending.
Yeah. It's nice to say that we got champion in Etihad Cup because of our power play. Remember, we were losing the game in the last minute. I think it was 5-4, and we score 1 goal using the power play. Then they score another goal, and we draw again, power play. And it was interesting that it was in the first attack. We didn't lose any opportunity in that game. Every attack using the power play, we score. It was nice.
With that being said, I have those videos. I'm going to be playing those videos. But if anyone has any questions to ask us about anything in futsal, jump on YouTube now, either my YouTube or Rafa's YouTube, type the question, and we're going to answer the question. Even if that question might sound stupid for you or for some other people, it doesn't matter. Someone is going to learn something from your question. So I want to emphasize you that ask your question. Don't be shy. Rafa, so let's start the chat. Talking about fifth main again, just before even we start, I want to show everyone the grand final goals using fifth main. So, just 1 second.
في الجهة اليمنى البطايح مع الثواني الأخيرة من أجل اللقب وأيضا من أجل اللقب الأول هنا على مستوى أيضا لعبة كرة الصالات في بداية الموسم. لكن محمد عبيد يعود، محمد عبيد يسجل. الله.
And we must say that goal was against Bataya, one of the best teams in UAE. But Rafa, if I put that goal again on the screen, I'm gonna put that again. I want you to commentate the goal and some good points, if you can, just for people that are not very familiar with scoring goals with power play.
Yeah.
So let's go.
Well, first you guys, you should observe the speed of circulation. Now, it was very important, Andrea. Can you just come back a little bit? When the ball reaches David. Now, That's the most important point. See, when they skip the pass, right? He's skipping the pass for Gabriel. He's passing straight to direct to Bader in that other wing, and Bader will pass in 2 touches for the player in the line. And this player in the line, he also passed in 1 touch. So the for me, the most important point here in this power play movement was the skipping pass of David, and then the pass in 1 touch from the player in the line. I think it was Khalid Al-Harbi. He passed in 1 touch for Obeid, and it was impossible for the defense to turn and adjust the second post, So just check. The winger gonna come here to defend David. David skipped the pass, and now this winger must sprint to the second post, and he's not able to get there at the right moment, So to me, it was the most interesting concept that we developed in the season. The skipping pass, the speed of circulation, and the one touch pass to the second post.
Exactly. So that's a good point about power play. Skipping pass, playing 1 touch, speed of the pass. They're all very important things. Here is the second goal of the grand final, also in power play. Second goal in power play.
يعود العميد، كرة ملعوبة خطيرة، تسديدة، لكن الكرة صدت. الله 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 الله. لا 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 لا. كلام كبير، كلام كبير، كلام كبير. يرفض.
Rafa, again, anything you'd like to add from this play?
Yeah, from this play, we can see, for example, that the defense, the zonal defense from Bataille, they are playing a little bit high. So they are playing about 50 meters. It's about 4 meters higher than they used to defend. And also we can observe that our last player, means Gabriel, now getting the ball, he's even behind the line of half court. So it's important to don't get in the pressure. I mean the pressure zone of the defense, and also to force the defense and to induce the defense to separate the lines. So and you can see Bader gonna skip the pass. I think he's gonna skip for David.
Skip now.
Right now.
Exactly.
Right now. By front of the defender, and he's going to the right position to finish. The right position, we call the player about the penalty spot, the 6 meter spot there in the center, and a player in the second post. See, Bader is running, and he gets
exactly. At this point here, they have 2 options. They have the penalty spot and the second post, so the defenders don't know which one to close.
Exactly, and the referee was going to say it was penalty. He was going to give the penalty for us.
Bader receives a penalty there.
Yeah. But he was right. He did right. He gave us the advantage.
Oh, Rafa, we have a question here from Anthony's stem. A very good question about power play. What's the main role, responsibility of the pivot? I think he's talking about it in general, but just let's say specify the question to the power play. So that play at the top of the defense, the power play defense, what that player should do.
The player in the defense, you mean, right?
The player at the top of the defense in power play.
Okay, right.
Exactly.
So there are some rules. One of the roles of that player is keep the height of the defense. And the height of the defense is, as I told before, is about 10, 12 meters. That's the height of the defense. So to the pivot, it's important to keep the height, to maintain the height of the defense. Second, it's important to the pivot, don't let the ball cross the pitch from side to side. So as we call skipping pass, the wing skip the pass, right? So the pivot.
Do you have your coaching board there, Rafa? You could show.
Sorry?
Do you have your coaching board there with you that you could show?
I can take. I'll take. I can show. Just a sec.
Or I can show here on the tactical pad if you prefer, Rafa.
I just got it.
No worries.
I just got it. No problem.
I'll just remove the question here quickly.
So the main rules of the player, of course, it's related to the game model of the coach, but the main rule is keep the height of the defense. This player is not allowed. He's usually not allowed to go very high or very, very down in the defense, right? Otherwise, he's gonna let the wingers skip the pass. And remember, skipping the pass, according the defense, the zonal defense, gonna put the defense in trouble, because when the ball is here, this winger used to close here the diagonal. This last defender, the back, used to come to the side of the ball, to the strong side, and this opposite winger used to come and close the diagonal and second post. So if this ball crosses the pitch in front of pivot or even behind the pivot, it's very far for this winger to come and adjust. Probably they're gonna get here an inferiority 2-against-1, right? And also it's hard for the back to come back here and control the second post, or even to come here to equalize the defense here 2-against-2. So it's almost impossible. And also this winger should turn here and close the second post. So as you can see, there's a lot of these adjustments because of the skipping pass. So the pivot, it's important for the pivot to close the pass side to side, the skipping pass. And also when the ball is in the line, is in the player here, deep in the line, it's important for the pivot. We usually ask here when we are trying to press, we used to ask this pivot here to come and close the center, right? Some coach, they accept this player to close the center, and the pivot controls the opposite side, give this balance, this defensive balance. But sometimes, and according to the model of power play of the opponent, is interesting to ask the pivot to come here. And we did it. We did it against Dafra in the final of President's Cup. I don't know if you remember.
Got it. Just one more question here. How wide should the pivot go if the ball is on one side? So how much to the side should the pivot go if the ball is on one side? Ele pode, quanto para lateral o pivô tem que ir para fechar a linha de passe quando a bola está do lado?
In which situation? Just help me here to understand you, please. In which situation you mean? Pivot is here, right? What you mean? The pivot is not coming here.
Exactly.
Here?
So that's his question.
Andrea, your voice is not working properly. It's like a robot.
Yeah, yours is not working very well either. So what I'll do is, Rafa, if you can leave the chat, I'll start playing the goals of the grand final. Just leave and come back.
Andrea, I can't understand you.
Rafa, can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Okay, so you leave as well. Did you watch the goals of the grand final against South Africa?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so just your audio is not very good, so just leave you as well. I'm gonna play the goals of the grand final again.
شيئا فشيئا كرة ملعوبة يسجل الأهلي من قوة من أجل العودة. محمد عبيد يلعبها في نقلة في مكة.
So Rafa, in the grand final of the playoffs, we scored 4 goals using power play.
Yeah.
let's go again. If you could commentate some of the goals here.
Let's commentate the goal related to the question that we got before about the position of the pivot and why. Do you remember? Just check the pivots in Aldafa defense. He's not going to the wing. No, his role is different.
Exactly.
And this is what I said before, Andrea. The role of the pivot in the, let's say, in general, is keeping the height of the defense and don't letting the wingers to skip the pass. Of course, there are much more roles for the pivot, but this is in general, I mean.
Yeah. So just to sum up again, the key points for attacking and the key points about defense in power play. If you could generalize.
In my opinion, the key points
in your opinion
for attack, yeah, the key points for attack are speed of circulation. I mean, circulation of passes, circulation of the ball, skipping passes every time it's possible to skip. Skipping passes is not only skipping pass wing to wing; it's also possible to skip pass between the back and the players in the line, right? Skipping the pass off the wing, and play at least the last touch. Like, I mean, the player in the line passing the ball to the center or in the second post in one touch. To me, those are the key points for attack. And for the defense, is keeping the height. Don't lose the patience. That's the most important. Don't lose the patience. Even if you think about pressing, you have to press, but organize it, right? Not pressing like a street game. Pressing with organization, with principles, knowing when is the right time to press. And the players, you have to find well the players, because there are some characteristics of the players that you should respect. For example, the back, he in power play, in the zonal defense, he must have speed. He must be fast, right? So even if the back is very experienced player, and he's smart, doesn't matter. He must be fast.
Rafa, we have a very good question here.
Tell me.
If you have a player sent off and they use the power play, how would you defend that? So how would you defend 3 against 5?
It happened. It happened last season, not this season that just finished. It happened last season, and let me tell you something. It's not so hard. Believe me, it's not so hard, because you can keep the structure, the basic structure of a triangle, and keeping the triangle, especially with the rotation of the triangle, keeping the 2-1 or even 1-2, it's not so important like that, but it's possible to defend, of course. And of course, you're going to need the goalkeeper, especially when the ball turns and side by side. It's important to the goalkeeper to give this adjustment.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, he's saying it's very hard. Yes, it's very hard, but it's not that hard like this. You know, it's possible to defend. Really, it will be necessary for the goalkeeper to let's say, to help more in the be more active in the defense, but it's possible.
All right, so we have some random questions here. Just we're not going to spend that much time on this today, but if you know anything about the Serbian league, Rafael?
What I know about Serbian league was when Iran went to Serbia to play a friendly match in, I think it was 2018 or 2019, and I watched this. It were 2 friendly matches, 2 days in a row, and I remember I was watching. That's all I know, and I know they have a very, very technical players, very good players, and also physical, very strong physically players. It's good. They also have good players in Serbia.
And lastly, about power play, before we move on, Rafa, if you could on your board again, talk about the pyramid structure for attacking. So when the 2 players come inside, so if you could just show on the board a little bit and explain the options, that'll be great.
Yeah. This pyramid structure, it started. It's interesting because we know one ex-player, former player, and this guy was in the game that they start using this in Spain. So it happened like randomly because of these two wingers. They start shortening the pitch, and it showed there were a lot of options in this system. First, do you remember, guys, when I talked about skipping pass? So when we talk about skipping pass, we showed in the videos we were skipping passes from wing to wing, right? In this structure, it's possible to skip pass from the back to the line player, to the deepest players here, right? Here there are some, let's say, some inconvenience, because when this player skip the pass here, this player here, he used to be a little bit far to reach the second post on the time, right? So it's a little bit hard, but also you create a lot of problems for the defense, because there is always a doubt here for who gonna defend this player, this winger or this back. Sometimes for the back, it's very far to reach the player before the ball, or even to block the shot. But sometimes when this player try to guess where is the ball going, this player here can get the ball and he's opening this diagonal here, or also this pass inside here. You understand? So this structure gives a lot of options. I'm gonna tell you guys some. Skipping pass, shot and second post. You can also here pass inside and you have this diagonal. Watch out that I'm just saying about finishing here in the second post, right? You have this and you have this. Always creating superiority here, 2-1 against this winger, right? Also here, you can find lines of pass here inside with a simple, very simple movement. Also, you can find interior passes. If this player here, for example, try to close the line and this player come inside, you have this pass, and here you have also superiority for passing and also passing. So this structure, the most important for you coaches to understand is you have possibility to skip passes from the back to the line players in both sides. Also, you create doubts between the wingers and the back about who is going to defend, who should jump here, who should go to defend, this player or this player.
Rafa, if a team defends 2-2, so if they defend 2-2, could you change the defenders to 2-2 quickly?
Of course.
What would be the best options in that case?
What happens if they defend 2-2? What's the problem here? You are letting, when they defend 2-2, the defense somehow is letting the player in the center to shot, right? Is letting the player to shot. If they decide to close the shot, for example, closing the good leg, the preferred leg of this player, for example, let's suppose his right foot. If this player try to close the right foot, he's creating possibility here, for example, for this player come between lines, and here you create superiority. Can you see?
Against two in the situation.
Yeah, you're gonna create here always with a player between lines situations to break the first line and create 2-1 against the last line. So it's important here that you bring one player from the last line, the third line of attack. Let's consider first line, second line, and third line. If we bring one player here playing in the center, we gonna create superiority here. It's the most usual, let's say like this. And becomes even easily sometimes.
Very, very good, Rafa. Rafa, today we're going to take a few minutes to talk about futsal in Australia. So we have three I'm very excited to announce 3 guests today. The first one will come as soon as we finish watching this quickly intro video. So let's just quickly watch this video here. And then as soon as he finishes, this person is going to come on the screen and I'll introduce you.
This week's challenge is against an all-star Victorian futsal team.
Seeing opposition, I thought would have a good chance because they all look like geeks.
We all know that. Okay.
Now here's Mike looking ahead to tonight's weather.
Ideal weather for the great indoors.
Some of the kids who are very excited to see a superstar like yourself.
Throwbacks all the way from Russia.
Hello, I'm Peter Hitchener with breaking news, and it's good news too. The Montrose Futsal Club has made it to the VEPL1. Congratulations to Matthew and the team. Hope you continue to play like legends, which you are.
Check Sam Mack is doing some futsal this morning.
And beautiful effort, guys. Congratulations on 10 years. Celebration, well done. 10 years. Thank you for having us this morning. In a moment, we're going to move this out of the way. We're going to have a kick.
I'll be back, and I am back.
Peter Partham, it's a great pleasure. We welcome to the Futsal Masterclass number 2.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
That's an honor. 2 guys that I have lots of respect. Peter, that was my boss for the last 10 years at Futsal. He was my boss for the last 10 years. And Rafa was my mentor, my head coach last season at NASA. So you guys can't meet face to face, but you're meeting online.
Such a pleasure. Such a pleasure, Peter. Such a pleasure. I heard a lot about you.
Likewise, thank you very much. Same with you.
Thank you.
Rafael, I'm sure you loved seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger there on the screen.
Yeah, man, it was amazing, really. What a show.
Peter,
it was fantastic.
Your passion about futsal, you made all those things happen in Australia, a country that there was no futsal, pretty much zero futsal before futsal, really. And I can say that I was part of this project, but really, you were the head person driving this big boat. What made you make all this, and also what's the future like for futsal? So if you could just look at the past and also talk about the future of futsal.
Well, I suppose what made me was I was a player too, and I wanted to play, and I wanted to be involved. I saw that the sport had so much potential, and there was just very little in Australia about futsal. Everything was all geared up to outdoor, and obviously Australia has many sports. It's got its indigenous sport, which is the Australian Football League, the AFL, and it's got rugby, it's got cricket, which is very, very popular here. And even soccer wasn't very popular. It was a very ethnic sport. So it was generally created from, the Greeks, Italians, Yugoslavians coming from overseas. And that's how the sport progressed. And far as indoor soccer went, it had a very good up and down little periods, but it was never consistent. So I actually enjoyed playing indoor soccer a lot more than playing outdoor. And initially at the start, all I wanted to do was help support the growth of futsal. I never imagined that I would be driving futsal. And, so was, the journey was that obviously there wasn't anyone appearing. There was, the federations weren't doing anything about it. And, there was no drive from anyone to build futsal as a standalone sport. I found myself that many opportunities to get people to help grow this. I found that if no one else is going to do it, perhaps I'll do it, and that's how that journey started. Yeah.
So it started now. Just before COVID, they had 3 centers. Now you're going back to 2. I'm sure you're gonna grow again very soon. You managed to bring Douglas Costa, Falcão, Vanessa, Venancio Lopes to Australia. Many big events that made history in Australia. But we cannot just live about the past. What's the future for futsal? What are your big goals about futsal?
Yeah, look, the goal obviously, there's been a lot, of course, world events, and of course Victoria and Melbourne being heavily hit with lockdowns, and due to the coronavirus has put us back a little bit. But the goal is still the same. The main thing was, how do you grow a sport that, in my opinion, is not supported by any government, not supported by a governing body, not supported by a federation, even though they say this. It hasn't been, and still yet we haven't seen that support come through. Now we hope it does come through. So we basically went on a journey and invested a lot of money to promote it, to create a brand, and to modernize how sport is delivered. So we looked at it as a license and a franchise. So what we did for 15 years was work out what works, what doesn't work. How do you involve kids from as young as 3 years old all the way up to, adults, as old as they can play, could be 60, 65, playing in the social leagues. How do you involve a whole community? How do you open something up that involves everyone, that can bring, the joy, the love, the happiness to this community? But meanwhile, you're also building an elite structure where in this community, you're always going to find 1 or 2 diamonds, 1 or 2 good players. And that then will be filtered through to an elite league, which is, out of the franchise, which is like the series futsal that we built. And therefore, there will be something like a different structure that is not exactly attached to a federation, that is attached to a modern entity, like, for example, like the UFC have done, and other organisations that have taken it. So that was the goal, because we saw there was no support in Australia from any governing body to build futsal. So we went alone and said, let's build a model. We're investing so much money. We're talking about millions of dollars being invested in Australia in futsal from Futsal Oz. How do you build something that is strong? It can weather the storm. It can go through coronaviruses. It can go through all these hardships. How can we get through this period or periods like this and see through the other side? And I suppose our main aim is to be able to create not only the franchise, not only the license for each community, but also to build a sport that's standalone, that that a complete new industry where you got from managers, from coaches, from presidents, from everyone that are completely focusing on futsal and not sidetracked by other sports or outdoor sport. Yeah, so
So Peter,
that's it. And yep.
Sorry, do you think this model could work in other countries as well, or just in Australia?
I think the hardest country probably for it to work would be Australia, because of the competition of many sports. And I think what we experimented with a lot of different things in the 15 years by going to suburbs that have no kind of soccer background or football background at all, like we did in Mount Evelyn. And we saw that a community can be built. And it's because it's more about what we tap into the aspects that is more about than futsal. It's not about futsal in the community. It's about bringing people together, creating that love, the joy, the happiness, that excitement in the community. Once you harness that, we believe you can find the players, you can build coaches, you can train, and that's where you then employ the expertise. And we've brought Valencia Lopez, we've brought Rafael down, and that is just for us to be able to say, hey, listen, what kind of impact will this have? We tested. These are a lot of experiments along the way, and we know without a doubt this will work anywhere. It's just about getting it all packaged up and being able to have it all in process and procedures that can go to any community, and this can flourish. So it's not completely.
Talk about experiments. Sorry to cut you. Talk about experiments. You have gone. They're probably one of the only person in the world that have changed the rules a little bit from the FIFA rules to your own version of rules. So for a lot of people that are listening out there, for example, in the serious foot, you're allowed to take side balls with your hands or with your feet. So you have 4 seconds. You decide if the game finishes in a draw. You have penalty shootouts. What were the reasons for these rule changes in serious futsal?
Well, when I grew up, and futsal had 1 or 2 years that was very good. I grew up with throw-ins, and we grew up in a smaller area, smaller courts. These big courts were introduced in 1990. Now I'm 46. So my early years, I played futsal on a smaller court. There were throw-ins. It was very exciting. There was another rule where you could pass back to the goalkeeper. So I'm glad that rule's not there anymore. That was a boring rule. So I saw that the game was very exciting. But when it went on a bigger court, and of course for players and for managers, bigger court's no problem. It's tactical, it's exciting for the players, it's unbelievable tactical for the coaches. It's fantastic for that inside futsal, when you're inside futsal. But for the spectator, for the person wanting to come, to be involved, to be engaged, you need to get it very exciting and very you've got to get it to be entertaining for them to want to come and watch. So I've been looking at futsal not only from a coaching perspective or a manager's perspective or a player perspective. I'm looking at it from a fan perspective, from a spectator's perspective, because our sport is a great sport. It's fantastic. For me, it's the best sport in the world. But how do you now do that?
Sorry, Peter. Yeah. Rafa, I'm not gonna say your age, but I'm sure you used to play with throw-ins.
Yeah, I used to play with throw-ins, and also in my time, the goalkeeper was not allowed to go outside of the box, outside his area, you know. Yeah, and the ball was very heavier than actually the ball is. And man, I really appreciate this initiative from Peter to experience this let's say these different rules of futsal, and I think he should be listened, you know, because he's talking about the most important element in the futsal, the fan, you know, the spectator. He's talking about them, and without them there is no sport. So to me, the most important is the vision, because at the end of the day, we are talking about entertainment. Futsal is a sport, but it's also entertainment. We have to consider the joy of the fans. So I'm here very excited and very happy to listen from Peter, from you. I listen a lot as well about this experience, and it's really very valid. And I think the futsal community and the people that rules the futsal, they should learn and listen from Peter a lot of things about his experience in Australia.
Thank you,
Peter. It was a pleasure to have you in the Futsal Masterclass number 2.
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to one day meeting you in person.
Sure, and, the pleasure.
You're a quality operator, and I wish you all the best in this year and your future endeavors. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you, Andre.
Cheers.
Thank you. All right, Rafa. Very exciting times for futsal in Australia. There are a lot of people working in futsal here, and I'm actually hoping that I managed to bring you to Australia in a very long time, in a short, very soon.
Yeah, really. I will be very glad to go. You know, I have this experience in Saudi Arabia, in Iran, now in Emirates, and it will be amazing for me. I like this kind of experience. I like to explore these different, let's say, different communities, futsal communities, different worlds. So for me, it will be amazing. I always told you that.
Very good, very good. So, guys, we had a very big news this week, was the World Cup fixture. And to talk about the World Cup fixture, we're gonna bring our next guest in, Vinicius Leite, Solomon Island national coach, Brazilian, another ambassador for futsal in Australia. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Hello, guys. Andre, the doctor, Rafa, Fogageiro, the Vin Diesel of futsal, if I can call you that. It's always, like a pleasure to talk about futsal, and especially tonight with two of the greatest, in this industry, in the sport that we all love. So yeah, thank you for inviting me, for having me, so tonight, and yeah, I can't wait to start talking about, the FIFA Futsal World Cup, which is going to be very exciting, as you just said, and there's a lot to plan for it.
That's amazing. Vinny, I know COVID surely stopped your preparation a little bit, held you back, but how is everything going for the Solomon Island national team?
Yeah, so COVID got in the way of every team, so not just ours. Unfortunately, Solomons, they still don't have an international full size squad. The only stadium that they have there has been used for treatment for COVID. So they now are training on a concrete court, back to the origins of Brazil, just playing on a concrete court behind a Chinese factory. But that's not stopping them from training, from chasing that dream of getting out of the group stage. However, they're coming to Australia very soon, and hopefully soon they'll be able to have access to all the best facilities here, training with me and Alex Argulo. So we're going to have an intense program that goes for about 5 weeks before we head off to Europe, to Spain, and perhaps Croatia, to play in 2 tournaments there, to give the players a game experience that they don't have. We got a very a mixture of players in this squad, current players that featured 2-3 World Cups, and new players that this might be their first World Cup. So we need to find and develop and build that team chemistry. So yes, COVID got in the way, but it didn't stop us from preparing to the World Cup.
That's amazing. That's really good. We know that you've been part of the Solomon Island national team for many years, for not just as a coach, but you've been involved with them for many years. How did you receive the invitation, or let's say, how was the feeling when you received the invitation to be the national coach? And really, what's your expectation from this experience?
Yeah, so that's when you receive, news like that. It might be also the same as when you, receive the news to join Rafa and his coaching staff. I think we feel stoked, very, very happy. I think is the results of so many years of hard work. And some people might say it's luck, but I think luck is, if I could define luck, would be preparation versus the opportunity. So you might have the opportunity, but you're not prepared. You might be prepared and you don't have the opportunity. So I think it's a combination of both. I got involved with them in 2015 when Juliano was the head coach. Juliano is another Brazilian coach, great person, great coach as well, gave me the opportunity of a lifetime. So he asked me for some help with the team because they're preparing for the qualifiers at Fiji for the 2016 World Cup. And then I organized a tournament here in Australia. You, Andre, came here and played as well against them. That was my first contact with them, 2015. December, and then Juliano invited me to join his coaching staff in 2016. I went to Colombia with them, got to train them, got to see with my own eyes there, like, so reality in the past I only heard about, the struggles that they face, but how passionate they are. And then I had the privilege, to travel with them, and had a closer look at what they go through. And then in 2018, in December, I received a phone call from the Football Federation asking me if I wanted to, become the head coach. I went as the goalkeeper coach. It's the only spot they had available. So they signed me up as a goalkeeper coach. I said, yep, I'll do it. And then I was pumping balls, collecting bibs. I was very humble just to, happy just to be there. And then I received the news. I thought it was a prank call, and I go, it can't be it. There's so many good coaches like in the world available that wanted that position, and then they invited me. I think because I had a close contact with the players and I helped them a lot, not just on the court but off the court. So we got really like attached to each other. I received the invitation, big responsibility. Never had any sort of experience like that, and then I just kind of thought about it for about 5 minutes ago. Great. So what are the pros and the cons of being a national coach? I'll do it. I didn't hesitate. I just had to, stop and think for about 5 minutes and say, is this really happening? And then I took on the challenge. And yeah, we've been together for about 2 years since the qualifiers 2019. Couldn't do much last year. Nobody could actually. And then now we're gonna, come together again for this amazing event, and I can't wait for it to start.
That's a great story. Talk about the relationship with the players. That's actually a question to Rafa there. With Rafa, we should talk all the time that there's so many amazing coaches in the world, but there is no right and wrong coach for the job. Rafa, the relationship with the players, do you think that's a key factor for a coach to have success?
Of course. I have no doubt about this. This is the most important, in my opinion, this is the most important thing to lead a group of players. So you can have a lot of knowledge about tactics, about training methods and everything. If you cannot deal with people, you're not able to coach anyone, So we are talking about people. We are talking about humans. So to me, this is a very important point. We have to understand that above everything, above all the tactics, above all the movements, above everything, we are dealing with humans, people, and we have to understand that they are different, and the way that you're going to treat them, you must respect each one, each player. They have a proper way to talk with them and to show them the way to reach the targets, the individual targets and the collective targets, because we have to assume that the players, they are individuals, that they have their self targets, and we are here to help them to reach these targets. So to me, it's very important to know the way to deal with the players.
Absolutely.
Can I just say, yeah, go for it.
No, just like to continue with Rafa said before. Players, as he said, they are like human beings, and if you can't have a good relationship with human beings, you're most likely not to get the respect. So some coaches, they get what they want from players by putting fear in them, fear of the player losing his position, like in the team, fearing of the player not getting wages or losing his contract. So they will play for you because you're paying him, or they're getting something from you. But if they respect you, I think it's like parenthood. If your son respects you, that respect will last, even though when you're not coaching them. So there's more like appreciation and there's more effort. I used to have a coach at Minas, just telling like a little story, that he wasn't the best coach, but the players played for him because they liked him so much. And then when this guy wasn't coaching anymore, there's a new guy apparently better than him came. He could not win as much as that guy. So the players go, well, we liked that coach. Like he got the best of us and we respected him. We actually loved him. So the players will go beyond the limits if they have not just fear, respect, but an appreciation for that coach. So what Rafa said is spot on. They're human beings, and if you can't have that sort of relationship with them, you get something out of them, but not all. And you want to get the best out of every single player. So yeah, well done, Rafa.
And that's something really hard to learn how to coach as well. Like you can learn tactics, you can learn strategy, you can learn training drills, but how to deal with the players, that's something very unique. And that's I tell
People
Rafa all
skills.
the time. I'm very thankful to Rafa to learn all these things from him. How to deal with those players, some hard moments, some hard decisions we had to make last season.
Yeah, but last season we were lucky because last season we won. I'm not sure, but I think we won almost 80% of the matches. So it's very easy to deal with the victory, with the win. It's hard when the environment. It's hard to deal with the players, the environment when you are losing. So also was easier for us last season, right? So it's interesting. I wish you could experience this situation being coaching in a different environment. Let's say losing more than winning. Building a team from the zero, let's say like this, it would be amazing, Andre, really. It would be amazing because from this kind of experience, you grow a lot.
Oh, Vinny, just before we show the group fixtures again, the fixtures of the World Cup, talk about the squad of the team. So how many players, or I'm sure you have announced here, or I don't know exactly, but how many players you had that played in the last World Cup? How has been the process of selecting the team for the World Cup?
Yeah, so from the 2016 Colombia World Cup, the team that I took to the qualifiers had only 8 players from that squad. That's due to some players retiring, moving on with their lives. It's a very poor country, and football is not a professional sport there, so players don't actually make money out of it. So some moved to Australia to try and get a job here or to focus on their studies. So yeah, I had to recycle, so the team from what Juliano had to what I have now. So yeah, 8 players remained from that squad, but then 7 new were added. Like another one became.
Andrea, we got some problem with his audio, right?
I think he just cut out for me here. Vinny, are you still there? Rafa, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah, now we can hear you again, Vinny. Yeah, Vinny, go ahead.
Can you see me? So hear me?
Yeah, you back.
Yeah, now we can hear again.
Are good? Because
so you're saying that 7 new players? You saying?
Yeah, so 7 new players, and that's due, as I said before, players went back to the main sports like football, beach soccer, or one became assistant coach, others came to Australia to focus on their studies. So, and that's going to be an issue because that golden generation is getting old. So some players might be their 4th, World Cup. And so without a proper league throughout, the year, the players are getting older or they're not keeping up their shape for as long as possible because they're not currently playing. Like, most of the teams that are part of the World Cup, they at least have a national league where the players can stay active and fit. We don't have that. So I need to go to different, like, the under 17s or maybe football and get the best players from there and add to the squad. So it's a little bit of different than what the other teams might be facing now. Like, you don't go to football, for example, like in Brazil, and get the best player from there or one of the best and they say, come and play futsal just for this event. Sometimes we have to, so to do that. So I just need now to build that team chemistry and also bond, all those players on and off the court. They come from different islands. Most of them know each other. And then I will have 19 players training in Australia for about 30 to 40 days, and then I will cut the squad down to 14. So I convinced SIF, Solomon Island Football Federation, to bring as many as they could with the limited budget, but I didn't want to be unfair to players that are currently training over there, and I haven't be able to see them and cut them out of a squad just to take somebody that has been to like a World Cup. It's not fair. I'll take the best regardless of your past, your history in the sport, because you're only as good as your next game. You're only as good as your next World Cup. So yes, I need to, focus on the present moment and on our, goal that could be like a reachable. It's to get a few points there, or maybe a win, make history again, and get out of the group stage. So that is our main focus. I think everything wants that, but we can dream now.
So let's see what Vini will be facing. Here's the fixture for the World Cup. In Group A, we have Lithuania, Venezuela, Kazakhstan, and Costa Rica. Rafa.
Yeah.
If you can just tell us who you think will qualify in this group. So just remembering that we have the top 2 from every group and the 3 best thirds. Is that right, Vinny? 3 or 4 best thirds?
Yes. 4.
4 best thirds. So
yeah,
just let's talk about top 2. Let's leave the top third and we talk about the third best after that. In this group, Lithuania, Venezuela, Kazakhstan, Costa Rica. Rafa, who you think will qualify?
In my opinion, Kazakhstan gonna be the first place, and here we're gonna have a good battle between Lithuania and Venezuela. But I really think Venezuela they improved a lot since the last years, and I believe that Venezuela gonna reach the second stage.
Vinny, I'm not gonna ask these questions to you. I'll leave Rafa to answer those questions. We keep on going here. Group B, Uzbekistan, Guatemala, Russia, and Egypt.
Well, here to me it's Russia, the first place. They're gonna get the first place, and I believe Egypt gonna be the second place. I'm not sure about Guatemala and Uzbekistan, but I know Uzbekistan they were facing some economical problems to keep the team training and playing here in Asia. And Guatemala, I don't know, but I think Egypt, even because I know a little bit more Egypt, I was watching their games, their matches in the Arab Cup. It was recent, so I think Egypt is gonna reach the second stage as second in the group.
Let's go Group C. Thailand, Portugal, Morocco, and Solomon Islands. So here, let's include Vinny in this discussion here. Vinny, who you play first? Let's talk about your fixture. So if you could give us the order of your games, please.
So we play Morocco first. I'm just gonna get here. I just saved here for us. We play
Morocco, Portugal, and then Thailand.
Yeah, that's
Morocco, Portugal, and Thailand.
So Morocco first, our opening match, then Portugal, and then last game Thailand.
That's definitely a very strong group.
It is.
Rafa, let's just talk
first.
about the top team. Just who you think is going to finish top of the table?
Solomon Island, sure. No, I'm joking.
I knew you would say that.
Yeah, man, no, it's really very hard group because, as I said about Egypt, I know the Moroccan team and they are very strong. Actually, they are facing, even Iran is one of the strongest teams here in Asia. They are facing Iran and having very hard matches. The last, for example, they lost 1-0 to Iran. It's not, let's say, it's not normal between these.
And 5-4 to Spain as well. Like in the last World Cup, I think they lost 5-4 to Spain. So they're like their force should be reckoned. So
yeah. They won Egypt 4-0 in the final match of Arab Cup. So they are very strong team.
Yeah.
Portugal, nothing to say. One of the biggest one of the strongest national teams in the world. And Thailand,
ranked 5th.
you know, yeah. And Thailand, you know, Thailand, they are really one of the powers in Asia. They are very strong team, very strong national team. They have very good, very experienced coach staff, and very experienced players as well. They are used to play the finals of AFC Champions League in clubs, and this club, especially the Chonburi club, is the base of the national team. So they are used to play with each other. They are very strong as well. I believe here, Portugal and Thailand. I believe Portugal and Thailand. With all respect, Vini, please, with all respect. I understand the difficulties of your group, man.
Yeah, no. Of course, like I'm not gonna say you're wrong. On paper, that is what should be happening, but we see a lot of surprises, in every single tournament in every single sport as well. The underdogs always beating, so the top dogs, and then they go through. We know it's going to be a tough group. Last week we can talk about, wishing to have been placed or drawn in group A just to go instead of Kazakhstan, us. But like at the end of the day, if you want to be the best, you got to beat also the best. So you have to face these things sometime in the tournament. So yes, I would say Portugal will come top. We'll probably face them or try to play the same way we played against Argentina, make it a respectable loss. If we can win, great, but we know of their strengths and our also weaknesses. So we'll fight hard to win. If we don't, make a respectable loss. Not like 10-0 to Kazakhstan in our last game. That wasn't great. We just pretty much not gave up, but we just like ran out of legs. We're not fit enough compared to those guys. So Portugal again, as I said, make a respectable loss. Thailand and last on Morocco, respect those two teams, but we will place ourselves like in the same level as them, and we're not gonna back down, and we're just gonna fight, harder than ever, because we do have a chance, as always, every year. Every time that you go to World Cup, everybody has a chance. But I think we believe this time now, because of COVID, a lot of teams struggling with training camps and players not being able to travel and spend a lot of time with teams. I think that evened up a little bit, the top teams, the middle teams, and the weaker teams. I think that the gap has been reduced because of COVID. So we do have a chance now, and we're very excited, focused, determined, and driven to get out of this group stage. It is not a second place, at least, one of the best 4 third places, like in the last World Cup. If Australia hadn't lost to Brazil by 11 goals, I think they lost 11-1. Australia couldn't have gone through. They had -8 goal difference, and then the team that went 4th place, qualified in 4th place, had -6. So because of 2 goals against Brazil, Australia couldn't have gone through. So that's why it goes back to what I said, make it a respectable loss against Portugal. 5-2, so 4-1, not a very big goal margin. But if we can beat them, even better. But we know that we have to be so realistic. We don't want to lie to the people and say, yeah, we're going to beat them. We're training harder than them. Now they've got pretty much the best player in the world now, so Ricardinho, and we're just gonna, as I said, try our best and see what the result will be at the end of the game.
Let's just hope Ricardinho is not fully recovered by then, because he's been injured.
Yeah. But hopefully he is, but it would be great if he didn't recover.
Let's go Group G, our home nations: Panama, Czech Republic, Vietnam, and Brazil.
Brazil.
We know Brazil's gonna finish first.
Yeah, Brazil. I think Brazil gonna reach the first position. And here, between Czech Republic and Vietnam, and Panama, I'm in doubt, because Vietnam is also improving a lot. They have a very good coach, one of the best coaches in the world, and I think they will be a surprise in this group. So here I bet in Brazil, and I will bet in Vietnam. Just I'm guessing.
Vietnam. Just remember that Vietnam will play their first game against Brazil, so then they will have Czech Republic and Panama after.
Yeah.
Let's go Group E: Angola, Japan, Paraguay, and Spain. That's a very interesting group there as well.
Yeah, here I believe Spain gonna be the first position. I'm not supporting Paraguay because I'm waiting for Michael to come back, so I prefer Michael to come back early. And I think here Spain and Paraguay.
Vini, Paraguay's goalkeeper coach is Al Nassr's coach. goalkeeper coach. So
Really?
Rafa is hoping that.
That's
Yeah,
why
I didn't know
they
that.
go into the second stage.
I didn't know that. Wow.
So he goes
Good on
back
him.
to Al Nassr quickly.
Yeah.
And lastly, Group F: Argentina, USA, Serbia, and Iran. Vinny, I'll let you start with this one. That's also a very hard group there.
Yeah. Like I won't say I have no doubts, but I would say the Argentinians are gonna come on top of that group. Just because at the moment, currently, they're like in the best shape. They are the current like world champions. They're the current Copa America champions and the Libertadores champions. You know, they just beat Carlos Barbosa in the final. So they have been, even AMF, you know, they have been winning everything lately. But they're coming up against, you know, like Iran. They surprised, not, I wouldn't say surprised, you know, so Brazil. I was there actually watching that game live, and they just, you know, like, tactically, they were amazing. I think Thiago didn't have a good game in the game. He didn't cost us the game, but he could have made better saves. But like Iran deserves, you know, all the respect from every other team, especially the Argentina. So looking at the past, you know, in recent Master results, I would say Argentina should come on top. It's not that they are going to, but it might be, you know, equal 7 points. They might have a draw and then 7 points, and it's going to be determined by who gets a bigger goal margin against the other two. So let's say like Argentina first with like Iran 7 points, and then followed by Serbia third and USA fourth.
Apart from USA, there I think everyone will have a pretty easy win against USA. Unfortunately for USA. But all the other three games will be amazing games. Really,
Amazing.
Serbia against Iran will be an amazing game. Argentina against Serbia. Argentina against Iran. Serbia against Iran. Rafa, you lived in Iran for 3 years. How do you think Iran is going to go in the World Cup in general, but also in the group here?
One of the favorites, I'm sure. One of the favorites to get the title. I mean, as Vinicius said, the COVID stuff, it's a helping the national teams, the teams, to reduce the gap, you know, between them. So I really believe Iran is always very strong. I know the players, I know the power of the national team. I believe Argentina will be the first position because they are really living a very good moment. So here it will be interesting because between Argentina, Serbia, and Iran, I think Argentina or Iran, the one that lose points for Serbia, gonna be out. Really, I really believe. You know, they have to beat Serbia first to get qualified. That's the first. My opinion is Argentina and Iran, if they want to reach the second stage, they have to beat Serbia. You know, they have to do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they are in risk to be out of the second stage for the Serbia team. I believe Argentina will be the first and Iran will be the second place. But I think Iran gonna reach the semifinals at least. I'm not sure about Argentina, but I think Iran gonna reach the semifinals. They are very experienced players, have a lot of players with power of decision. So
it might be a little bit too small for you guys there, but Serbia play against Iran the first game. Argentina plays against USA. Iran will play against USA. Argentina against Serbia. So if Serbia lose to Iran, Serbia will have a second game for their lives against Argentina next. It's a very interesting group there. Every game will be very exciting.
Yeah.
Guys, unfortunately, we have to finish this Futsal Masterclass number 2. We're going to an hour and 10. We don't want to hold on to everyone. Vinny, thank you so much for being a part of this. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
And anything you need, just give us a call. We'll be more than happy to help you out with whatever. Anything to help you guys succeed even longer.
It's just like a pleasure first to always watch what you guys do online. You know, I purchased the 4-0 ebook, the 3-1 ebook as well. I'm just about to like acquire it, and some of you guys are doing it's amazing for, you know, so the sport of futsal, spreading that word, planting that seed. Every person that click on the link and watch it, I'll definitely get some tips from you because I need to improve the Solomon Island players. So finishing, that is their weakness. So I'll definitely be watching your videos and talking to you so privately about some tips about improving the finishing. And Rafa, it's always great to follow you online. I always click on your like a Futsal Tactics page, get some drills from there, some ideas. So it's just now great to be involved in the same live as you guys. And just sharing a little bit of my journey and my experience now, because I think every coach dreams to be coaching like at a World Cup. I've been privileged, feel honored to come to my second World Cup, and hopefully many more to come if I can keep doing a good job. And you guys will certainly help me improve my knowledge.
We got lots of.
Very much.
We got. Sorry, Rafa.
Let me thank Vini, because it was a pleasure. First of all, Vini, it was a pleasure to talk, to have you in our masterclass. I wish you the best luck, everything that you need. You can count on me, count on Andre, and we keep in touch. Okay?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
And we're getting lots of comments during the live, but one that we got the most here was people telling me to shave my head to look like you guys. I'm the only one here not bald, man.
You certainly gonna look much better, Andre.
Yeah, it's about time already. I think coaching futsal makes you go bald, doesn't it?
Oh, I had my head. Come on, don't do this, kid. And then I went, okay, they're all gone. So decided to shave.
I'm tired to say.
Some people say that they come late. Just keep on watching us on YouTube after the Futsal Masterclass number 2 will be up on YouTube. Rafa, you start training this week. How is the preparation going for NASA quickly, just to finish it off? And how it's been week 1 of the preseason?
We started last week. We just had 2 trainings, and now in this period before the pre-season starts, we are doing only the trial. We are having many players from UAE, local players, and we are having trials. So I'm afraid to say, but I'm a little bit late to the train today.
All right, so we'll let you go, Rafa. We'll let you go, Vinny. Thank you so much for being part of this. We look forward to Futsal Masterclass number 3. And Vinny, good luck again.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to talk to you. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Andre.